Good evening and welcome to Putnam County Sports Talk. We are your hosts. I'm Jared Jernigan, assistant editor here at the Banner Graphic.
King Gardner, sports editor.
And we're here with a special tournament edition.
Yeah, special tournament edition. Yep, we're going to be starting off tonight's show talking about the state swimming tournament. Jared attended last week. We had a 200 medley relay team from Greencastle make it. And so what did you kind of see how they do?
Well, I saw four girls go down and have a lot of fun. I mean, I think they went into it understanding, they weren't really in contention for going on to the second day. There were 32 teams. They were seeded 32nd. They actually came out 31st with a time of 158.25. It was a nice improvement of about a half second over their sectional winning time, and that was the team of Sydney Cassida, Emily Wheeler, Melanie Biddles, and Sydney Terry. And it was kind of a nice thing because Biddles and Terry are both seniors, so they got to finish their career there in one of the world's most famous pools. And Cassida and Wheeler are both freshmen, so they got a taste of state finals pretty early. And I know they both told me they're pretty raring to come back. They both like to make it back 3 times if they can. So
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool, the balance that they had on that team. So
absolutely, and I think some other good swimmers who didn't make it out on that team. So I think Terry and Biddles are the only 2 seniors, so still should have some nice things coming back for whoever the new coach is that replaces Luke Beasley next year. And then also we have boys sectional swimming this week. That'll be Thursday for the prelims, and then all of diving and the finals of the swimming events are on Saturday. And Greencastle comes into this, I think, with some pretty high expectations. They won here about a month ago at WCC. They won 11 of the 12 events, and then last week at the county meet they won 9 of 12 events. So they've got some pretty strong swimmers on that. Some people to watch for. They're really strong across the board, but Jay Guffey, Walter Chiarella, Jesse Elkins, and Nash Firebaugh, I think, are all 4 guys in particular who I think have hope to be at state, just like those girls were. And then also for our other county schools, a couple of guys to watch for from South Putnam are Jake Gold and Sam Gold, who both won events last week at county, and then Jeremy Band, who was the person who prevented Greencastle from having the sweep back at WCC, and he's from North Putt. So I think at least a handful of swimmers from every school to watch for, and hopefully we can have a good meet across the board. And then also in this tournament season, some pretty exciting times in wrestling. We do have one person bound for the state meet in wrestling, so can you tell us a little bit about that, Ken?
Yeah, we had 6 guys from the county make it down to the Evansville semi-state this last weekend, and Cloverdale's Dunny Helterbrand will actually be competing at state this weekend. This is a Friday at 6. He'll be going against Carmel's Grant Scuria, we think. Both wrestlers are 39-1, so going to be some pretty good action there, I believe. So if he wins on Friday, he'll advance out to Saturday, and he'll begin his day at about 9:30. So.
Well, it could be pretty interesting because if I was looking at things right, I believe both of those wrestlers suffered their first loss of the season last week.
Yeah.
So that's probably a lot of anger going.
Yeah.
So that could be a really exciting match.
Yeah. Well, and also coming up this Friday, we have a full slate of boys games, actually all on the road this weekend. So, starting out, we're going to have the 8-9 Cloverdale Clovers at the 13-6 Rockville Rocks. Cloverdale's kind of entered into the game on a little bit of a skid. They've lost 2 games straight, so they'll be kind of looking to, turn the tables. But Rockville's a pretty tough team. I've seen them once this year, so they're a pretty good team. Tall and can score really well inside, And Greencastle 9-7, they're losers of 3 straight. They'll be going to Southmont, who's 5-12, and Greencastle will definitely be looking to get back on track. They lost their first conference game to Monrovia on Monday, which was a rescheduled game, and then Tuesday night, last night, was they went against Northview. They hosted Northview, and I was at the game, and they just seemed a little bit out of sync. Couldn't really get any kind of a flow going. Had some foul trouble at times, but they'll definitely be looking to kind of end that skid. And with the season coming to a close, most teams have 2-3 games left. Some after this weekend only have a game left. So they'll be definitely looking to turn it around.
Well, and hopefully they've had some time to recover. Not only was that Monrovia game their first conference loss, it was for the conference title. Both teams came in 4-0, so Monrovia, the conference champion. So you've got to wonder if there was a hangover effect the very next night going against Northview. I mean, you go in hoping for the county title or conference title, don't get it. Is it going to be a letdown the next night?
Northview's a good team. They had a couple of really good outside shooters.
Okay.
And they were really hitting. So they had two guys dump in 18 points each. So that's always going to
that's
be
tough to compete with too. Yeah. So then we have North Putt sitting at 5-11, who will be traveling to 13-4 Covington, and the Cougars are losers of 4 straight. So obviously looking to rebound, but at 13-4, Covington's not going to be an easy opponent. So I know Coach Martindale will be looking to see what his boys can do against a quality opponent. And then we have South Putnam at 1-17. They'll be traveling to Owen Valley to face the 4-12 Patriots. And although South did lose its last game, they did last week pick up their first win of the season over Lighthouse Christian, who they beat 67-47.
Yep.
So, know any details of that game? Tell us a little bit about Kane.
They were talking, and they said that's one of the higher scoring point totals that they've put up in recent years. So definitely a good way to close up their season. They obviously have lost a game since then, but being able to taste that and to have the just to be able to have that feeling of winning, because winning and losing is contagious, and you get that. You do not want to go into the tournament without a win under your belt, and getting one so close to the tournament, it could have a positive effect. You never really know until the tournament begins, because as any coach will tell you, every team enters the tournament 0-0. Throw the records out. So hopefully getting that win and that experience under their belt will serve them well, and they'll be able to put together a little something here at the end of the season.
And then our schedule of weekend hoops games concludes on Saturday when North Putnam travels to Tri-West. The Bruins are 12-5, so that's a couple of tough weekend opponents for them.
Yeah.
And our girls' season in basketball has concluded here in Putnam County with sectionals last week. We do not have anybody advancing to regional. Cloverdale finished the season at 1-20. They lost to North Putnam, who that one win actually came against earlier in the year, 40-28 in the first round of the Cascade sectional. And Greencastle finished the season at 12-8. They lost to Edgewood 61-39 at the South Vermilion sectional. And this was a real heartbreaker, not only because the team led by 2 at the half, but then for one senior in particular. Can you tell us a little bit about Mallory Miller, King?
Yeah, Mallory entered the game 24 points shy of 1,000, which is a milestone that any player that plays the game, who has the talent that she has, really has an aim for it, or at least has their eye on it. And to be that close, they had 2 games canceled late in the season that they weren't able to make up, so that made a big difference. And then she entered, like I said, the sectional game 24 points shy. She was only able to get 10, so she ended her career at 986, I think. Right? Yeah, 986. So, definitely a heartbreaker for her, but really it didn't seem, afterwards, the talk wasn't, that she didn't get it. You could tell it was, the team, the overall team, but it was really tough because they were up by 2, really seemed to be having kind of a momentum shift there at the end of the first half, and then Edgewood was able to come out, I believe scored 16 unanswered points to begin the second half, and honestly just ran away with the game. So they just really got the Tiger Cubs back on their heels, and they never could quite recover. So it was a disappointing loss.
Yeah, and really just to go back to Mallory, that's just such a heartbreaker. I mean, when we were coming into the last week or 2 of the season, she had 24 points to score with 3 games left. Pretty much seemed like a gimme.
Yeah.
And the ice storm just hit at the wrong time for her. So that was really a tough thing to see happen to a very good kid. So, and then we also had North Putnam finish their season at 4-17 after defeating Cloverdale 40-28 in the first game. They lost to Covenant Christian 64-33 in the semifinals at the Cascade sectional. And South Putnam finished the year at 2-17 with a 54-39 loss to Speedway, also at Cascade.
Yep. Yeah, I was at Cascade. The only game I didn't get to see was the second North Putnam game, but the first North Putnam Cloverdale game to open up, their part of the tournament. North Putnam played just about as well as I'd seen them play all year. They led the Clovers 20-1 at the half, and Cloverdale scored their 1 point with like 6 seconds to go before the half. So they really put together a nice win. And then, in the same way with South Putnam. I mean, the score doesn't look like it, but I was extremely impressed with South Putnam. They played very well with a lot of confidence. Kelsey Searles, it was her senior year, she did a really good job, so, it was a good win, or, not a good win, I'm sorry, excuse me, but a good game for them because it showed that the younger players that they have there that are going to be coming back to the program are going to be very capable of putting some good games together for, Coach Steffi. So, and we have another milestone. DePaul women's head basketball coach Chris Huffman won her 400th career game this weekend when the Tigers defeated Sewanee 87-41, and it was a pretty cool event. After the win, there were some past players there and current players, and pictures everywhere, and it was pretty cool because I spoke to her afterwards about the win and everything, and I asked, one of the questions I asked her was, when you're sitting at home and you're relaxing later on tonight, what will it feel like? And, in typical fashion for her, she said that she's such a next, what's next person that she'd be thinking about the next 2 games, down the road. So, we just want to say congratulations to Coach Huffman. Great achievement, and again, Tigers look like they're going to be making some noise. They looked very, very good on Sunday.
Well, I mean, year after year, I mean, it's there's always going to be a good chance of them making a nice tournament run. I mean, Coach Huffman, 400 wins, I think, shows it that year after year she's able to put a quality team out there, a team that can compete with the best in the country. And and it showed here, several years ago when she brought DePaul its only team national championship in school history, by winning that. So, definitely a well-deserved milestone, and we're definitely happy to see that for Coach Huffman.
Absolutely.
So I believe that should take care of it for the week. So once again, I'm Jared Jernigan.
Kane Gardner.
We'll see you next week.